Game.
Make it or break it!
Damn it.
Now, you got like a lot of key features that go into a game, like story, characters, graphics, gameplay, but what is the most important for you guys?
Explosions!
Explosions make any game.
Is it fun? That's my biggest
But
criteria.
what would make it fun?
Well, I think it's sort of how everything comes together, right? How all of the pieces fit together into the puzzle that is a good game. That is my Confucius quote for the day.
Wow, that's a little too deep for Gamer Nation.
Yeah, just a little bit. I like your mom.
I don't know what makes a game good, but what makes it bad is any of you assholes playing it on the internet.
I like games that offer a lot of choice, a lot of freedom, do things the way you want, blow people up or go in stealthy, you know.
More like a Crisis or like a Mass Effect?
Where is it? Dishonored was really good
Dishonored,
at that.
okay.
Yeah, like there were different routes you could take. You could like climb through the sewers or go through a vent, possess a rat and go through a vent. A lot of different ways you could take on the level, and it was good. It was a good game.
That also adds to replay value, which I think makes a good game. If you're gonna spend $60 on a game, you better play it a few times, and not just like multiplayer, but like if I can have like this one, Dishonored, you can play like the safe route, the good route, or the bad route. Do I just want to put everyone out of their misery, or just kill everything?
Yeah, I think nowadays games either need that, they need the single player that begs you to replay it because there are multiple things you can do or choices you can make, or it needs the multiplayer. It has to have it.
True.
It's one of those things, because $60 is just too much to spend on a game that you're going to play once for 6 hours and then be done. Which is my biggest complaint about The Darkness 2. You guys might remember that game coming out, and it was probably one of the best single-player campaigns I've ever played. It lasted about 6 hours, and then there was some co-op that you could do for like an hour before you got bored of that, and that was kind of it.
Now, for me, Mass Effect has always been like, from the beginning, like one of my favorite franchises because it has an amazing story and characters that I can really get behind, and literally get behind if you make the right choices.
Because you can bang someone.
Yeah, you can.
That you can have.
Oh, Miranda.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I played through that game so many times because, like you mentioned, I can do it completely differently. Do I want to be a good guy? Do I want to be a bad guy? Do I want to save this person, kill this person? And because of that, that's still one of the greatest games for me.
I like Mass Effect, don't get me wrong, but here's my problem with long-form games like that, is if so much of the game is the gameplay, even though there is the story elements in there and you can spend time going around and talking to everyone when you're not on missions, so much of that game is the gameplay. And to me, the Mass Effect, the shooting in it and the way in which you moved and got into and out of cover, and it was just like a little clunky. So I wasn't a huge fan of Mass Effect, definitely not as much as everyone else. I still like the game, but when so much of the game is gameplay, the story kind of gets overshadowed sometimes by the like slow, boring-ish
Makes sense.
clunkiness.
Now, would you say, Laser Corner also, how important is gameplay in an overall game? Like if it has like the perfect story, perfect characters, do you feel the same way? Like if it's got clunky controls, it's out?
I'd say it's out, but
Yeah, clunky controls won't kill it. I do feel gameplay is more important than story, at least to me. If a game plays well, I don't really care what the story is.
is Bulletstorm kind of a good example?
Yeah, Bulletstorm, I don't even remember what happened in Bulletstorm, but I could flail people and then kick them into other people and then explode the flail I had wrapped around them and blow everything up.
Lasercorn does like his explosions.
I do. I like it when things explode. I like to make things explode.
Hey-o, can I give one of those in there? Just that's what she said, maybe? I don't know.
It's kind of a weak one.
Yeah.
And like if I can do that creatively and have like I said, choice is a big one, and like I like Bulletstorm because you have so many guns with different options and environmental hazards, different ways to kill people. That's what it's all about, really.
I think when people talk about good games, like a lot of people say stuff like that, like, oh, I want there to be a lot of choice. But really, I think it ultimately comes down to, is the vision of the game realized? Because there are some games that are very, very linear that are still amazing games because they wanted to present the story in a very, very specific way. And if you don't like that, if you want a game that has a lot of choice, then don't play that game. But that doesn't mean it's a bad game.
Yeah.
It just means it's not for you.
You picked a real peach of a world to crash on, boss.
I'm picking up a large cluster of hostiles approaching.
Son of a dick! Pull up your skirt and strap that dick on.
All right, there's still one more opinion we gotta get. We gotta throw it over to the lean, mean, human killing machine, Smosh Bot. What do you think?
Thanks for shutting up, guys.
Yeah, what I think makes a great game is obviously the gameplay. I mean, I've seen so many games where it seems like they cared so much about the story that they wrote out the story and they're like, okay, how are we gonna make it a game now?
I don't know. Just make it look pretty. Who cares?
I don't know. And then quick time events, I just think they're unnecessary.
It can be fun sometimes,
Jason!
but if it's an entire game of just pressing buttons when it tells you to press a button, then
Yeah, like
Kinda sucks.
Like it's cool interacting with the story, but your story shouldn't be so long that you need to feel like you're about to fall asleep until you press that button. I don't know. I think gameplay. If you make a whole game and you have awesome gameplay, and you're like, oh, let's throw in a little bit of story to connect it. Like that's gold right there.
I would say that like graphics, like people focus too much on graphics, and then they don't focus enough on gameplay and stuff. But then I realized like if I was playing a game and the graphics weren't like up to the standards of everyone else, I'd probably be bothered by it. And what makes a bad game?
Well, what breaks a game?
Well, what bothers me the most about like a video game is if it has like repetitive voice acting. Like I remember I was playing this game, I think it was Mercenaries 2, and you're driving around with these AI characters, and they said the same freaking line over and over. They had like 2 lines that they said.
What was it?
It was one guy said, "Oh, it's so hot here," and then one of the other guys, I don't know, they said something else. But literally, like they're just supposed to be like guys, and it's like they had like a guy in like a sound booth for like 2 minutes recording lines for everyone, and they're just like, "Oh, it's so hot here. Oh man. Oh boy," and then they just repeated those lines, and they'd say that freaking line like every minute.
What I think breaks a game is when they hold your hand through the entire game. I've played games where it's like you walk over to a corner and then a text pops up.
Don't walk into that corner.
Yeah.
That is not the way to go.
I can't put my finger on which game it was exactly, but I just felt like I wasn't even playing a game. I was just doing exactly what they told me, and there was no puzzle or you were never figuring anything out.
Yeah, sometimes they make games for idiots, which is why I like the game so much.
Well, there you go. Always good to hear from Ian and Anthony, which kind of interesting. They did talk about some stuff that breaks a game. For me, what like literally will break a game every time is bad writing, bad dialogue. Huge Final Fantasy fan, but I could not play 13 for longer than 2 hours because the dialogue in the beginning for me was so terrible. I swear they said like the word hero like 800 times.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, like I want to be a hero. Don't be a hero, kid. I can do this. I'm a hero. Yeah, just I couldn't take it. I got out of the game immediately.
But there is a Piranha 3D effect when the writing is so bad that it's amazing and hilarious.
There's that.
Final Fantasy XIII's writing didn't get into that valley where it's so bad that it's good, unfortunately.
So what breaks a game for you, Lasercorn?
Breaks a game for me, obviously, I said choice is a big one. Games that are too linear, I don't like, with certain exceptions. Other things that break a game for me, not enough violence will break a game. There's too much non-violence will make me sad and I'll start to get bored. Like GTA-style games are great, things where I can blow stuff up.
Where you can never stop blowing stuff up.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a pattern here, Lasercorn, and I'm worried for you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not a good psychological profile to have.
I'm so glad I'm on your team.
Who could have murdered all these people? The guy that really likes violence, or the guy that doesn't like writing.
If it weren't for violent video games, then I would be blowing up real people.
That's true. Keep violence in video games, guys.
That's a good argument. So, Hinky?
Kind of frightening. Make sure that you have a long list of games to play. For me, what breaks a game, in generally speaking, although there are a few exceptions, too many cutscenes breaks a game for me.
Good one.
Gears of War 3 was a great game. Felt like it had too many cutscenes. I didn't think it was a bad game, but I thought it could have been better if maybe they had toned that down a bit. I knew it was like a game that's kind of coming to a climax of the series, so they kind of felt like they needed that story in there, but there's other ways to do it. I think the best games are the games that integrate the story into the gameplay. Like Dead Space did a great job with that. The original Half-Life and probably Half-Life 2, it's been so long since I've played those games, but all of the sort of cutscenes were just sort of in-game events that happened before you were sort of unleashed onto the area where there's going to be some action.
So you're saying like a game like Metal Gear Solid 4 with like 15 hours of cutscenes?
I literally did not. I played Metal Gear Solid 1, and then I played Metal Gear Solid 2, and that's the last one I played because Metal Gear Solid 2 had so many cutscenes and I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
Time for Twitter questions, aka the section where we admit that we are running out of ideas.
All right, well, guys, this is Gamer Nation, so that means we got to hear from you, our gaming nation. So what we did is I actually went to Twitter to find out what you guys thought of what makes and breaks a game. I got a few Twitter posts here. Let's go to read these off and see what you guys think. Now, first, from Cage Gardner, story and characters, gameplay is an added bonus, which was kind of like more agreeing with me because I'm all about story and characters. If I have good gameplay, that's great.
See, I'm the opposite. Great gameplay, and then you have the characters and the story are a bonus.
Yeah. In fact, that was actually a really popular post. Like, we were getting a lot of people voting for like story and characters, including Nymphy J, who said, "I think more than the graphics, a game needs a good story and charming characters."
A lot of people out there playing Catherine.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you want a game with charming characters, you might as well just put us in a game. Am I right? Charming.
No. I mean, definitely not you.
But something that none of us said is we're real gamers here. Like, why do we have to choose just one of these over another? Why can't a game be perfect? Like, Keeling Davis 23 says, "I think it has to be a combination of all three for me." Or MD. I'm sure they meant me. Which, yeah, like...
You don't know that. They could be a medical doctor.
So, yeah, all medical doctors need to have a perfect game.
For medical doctors.
Which, yeah, like, we're spending $60 on a game. Why should we skimp out on one section over another?
Why not? I don't think any of us want not all three. I think that
we're just emphasizing which one's more important.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, and like there's some games where like slightly above average, getting slightly above average in all those characters will equal out to like a great game.
Yeah.
Like, you know, then it just kind of feels like, man, I don't know what it is. The graphics aren't, you know, blowing me away. The characters aren't super impressive, but for some reason I really like this game. It's because all three were, you know, just a little better than average.
With each other.
And there's sort of that, I feel like there is somehow that sort of X factor that you can't really put your finger on when a game is just like so good that it blows your mind. It's sort of that one thing, maybe just resonates with you personally because of something, but there's always that sort of indescribable, like, this game's amazing, I can't even really tell you why, but you have to play it.
Yeah. One huge factor that we didn't mention is pacing.
Yeah.
The pacing of a game.
Pacing of the game is important.
Yeah.
That was my biggest problem with Mass Effect.
Yeah, and then
slow pacing.
Like Modern Warfare, some of the Modern Warfare games, you know, if you're playing through the single player campaign, it's just like nonstop, you know, guys coming at you, action. There's no like take a breath.
Which it sounds great, all that, especially coming from you. You want all that action, but sometimes it's like, hey,
no, you break it up with a story or a stealth mission or something. You gotta understand pacing to make a good game.
That's it for us here on Gamer Nation this week. Thank you so much for chiming in with all of your comments below. We're paying attention to them. So keep it locked right here to Smosh Games for all of us. It's me and Anthony and Mari. Guys,